Hello and welcome to Camera Review. Today we are looking at Sigma's FP camera, which is their latest small compact camera. It is touted as the smallest full frame camera in the market, and it has incredible features that I really like, which I want to share with you. It could be the next best thing to buying a very professional camera for video applications because it covers both the field of photography as well as video, and the fact that it can record in 12-bit DNG is something incredible because it's going to give you incredible latitude for in the post-production. It's going to give you abilities to do professional quality work for video applications. So that's what I'm going to talk about. But firstly, let's look at some of the specs and then decide if those specs are useful and serves the purpose of doing for video or for photography. First thing, you will see that it has a UHD 4K, which means you got 3840 by 2160 as the ratio. It could have been 496 by 2160, would have given you DCI technology, which is the cinema standard. That's what it stands for. But it is a crop, so that means it's mostly designed to be used for example, YouTube or other platforms. Of course, you can enlarge the image or you can crop the image to fit into 2K or HD format, but I think that it should have come in at the 496 by 2160 as the standard. So technically speaking, it is considered a video camera more than a film camera. But when you look at the specs and its recording capabilities, you're going to see that it is far better than what other cameras are being offering at the market. So let's look at that. For example, you gotta get 30 frames per second, which is pretty good for a camera that can record in this compact size this way. Most cameras right now are pushing 6K, and then they have the 60 frames for the 4K. But if you consider from the point of how compact this camera is, it is truly a good thing. And also the fact that it's coming in 12-bit DNG, which means you're going to get the highest quality images, and it's going to give you the most flexibility when you're doing post work. At full HD, you're going to be able to go up to 120 frames per second. Now you might be saying 120 frames per second sounds like a good number, but it is being offered by all the cameras in the market. Even the latest camera, which is the APS-C type of sensor camera from Nikon, which is a Z50, has 120 frames per second. So that is not something spectacular, but the fact that you have that capability is important. So you can do your slow-mo, you can do all kinds of recording on your vlogs and other platforms. And this is great camera to put on gimbals because it's not heavy. If you look at the way it is designed, you're going to find that it is only 370 grams, which is about 13 ounces. Very light camera, very easy to hold. It comes with the L mount. L mount, as you know, is the Leica standard for the mount. It is the kind of camera that can adapt to bigger lenses that are produced by Leica and Sigma. Sigma has an incredible line of lenses that are easily applicable to that. Of course, the lens is going to be far bigger and heavier, probably from the body itself, but it is out there. It is the possibility that is going to be allowed to be used for people who want to have a small compact body. I think that in the near future, you might see smaller type of lenses that are going to be probably f2.8 or f4 that are going to be applicable to do video and or vlogging with this type of camera. One of the drawbacks is that it has the UHS 2 card slot, but it is a single card slot. So that means there is no way to back up the information you have, but there is the ability to record externally for video, which is the way I would go if putting this camera to use. And that's usually the way it has been done with, for example, cameras like Blackmagic and GH5. So this is something that I think is very useful for applications where you want to have a kind of a small external recorder like the SSDs that have been put out by Samsung, which I'm going to provide links down below for the best ones that might work with this. So you can put that and use this camera for those kind of applications. I think that is very, very good. Also, you're going to find that it can shoot 18 frames per second, but that is not going to be a full 18 frames. You're going to have the camera's buffer fill up at 12 frames, so you're not getting a full 1 second recording. But I mean, if you shot 12 frames per second repeatedly, that means you're going to capture pretty much every movement in the shot accurately. So those are things that might be useful, for example, for capturing action, for things that are fast moving. Those are going to be things that will help people who want to capture that action in motion. So those are things that I have seen other cameras struggle with the number of frames. Most cameras with the APS-C type of sensors, even they cannot go up over 10 or 11 frames. For the ones that have the smaller size micro four thirds sensors, yes, they do go up, but they are rarely going over 18 frames per second. This camera does allow you to shoot the 18 frames per second speed. Of course, you're not going to be able to record all that except the 12 frames. They could have done a better job of putting a bigger buffer in, but I think as a first version, this is a great camera. If you know anything about the Sigma cameras, they had their own proprietary mount that did not work very well. Now they are moving to L mount, which is being used by Panasonic and Sigma. So that's going to give them a more flexible platform, putting lenses on it, and it's going to probably allow Sigma to come up with more competitive products in the future. As a first-time camera, you're going to see these air ducts that are designed to cool the camera systems so that they can record the 12-bit TNG technology. I think that is huge in terms of the size that this camera comes in. We would have wanted to see this camera at 51,200 as their top level in terms of the ISO level, but we are seeing that as a standard it comes at 25,600. So that means it is going to be able to do pretty much everything you want it to do in low light, except push incredible high numbers. That's going to creep in noise. It's going to destroy the image quality. So what I look for is how operable is those numbers, and when you're doing video or if when you're doing photography. And in both applications, it is fairly decent numbers. As a full frame camera, it's not up there with the 30 or 60 megapixel cameras that are out there, but at 24 megapixels, it is more than sufficient to deliver good images. Those are images that you can use for a variety of professional work, even if you're doing wedding photography or if you're doing photography for events. This is a great camera because you don't have to carry a second camera body. You got incredible image quality from the vlog applications, so you can be filming at the same time and then take photographs for the event or whatever the thing that you may be photographing and filming for. If you are able to photograph and also deliver video for your customers, your clients, this is a great camera for that. Of course, it yet still has to be tested and be proven in the market. I think that there's a good market for it, especially the fact that it's very light and you can put it on a gimbal and do all kinds of, for example, wedding ceremonies and events. This is the type of camera that will do very well in those applications. Of course, you can do crop-ins into the image, so you can get 1:1, you get 3:2 or 16:9, even 21:9, which is the very wide format if you are doing to do photography or different kinds of applications. I don't suggest that you crop the image, but those are things that people may want to have in their arsenal when they are trying to get images and then try to post them on social platforms, especially. Those are very useful. Now, one thing that you may be asking is how good is the autofocus? Now, if you know the other cameras like the Canon and Nikons, they have these 93% of their screen covered with over 600 dots. So those are focus points that are going to be very good for those kind of cameras. For this has only 49. So basically it is still technologically behind those camera bodies, but if you look at the fact that you're going to be focusing right in the center of that frame where the 49 dots will be, I think that is more than sufficient to deliver good quality for your vlogs or for your photography. The thing that people most would like this camera for is that you don't have to do a lot of editing. The fact that it has profiles in it that, for example, you got the teal orange profile, which means that you can pretty much mimic the look of a film look or cinematic look in your videos. That is going to be something that people are going to appreciate, especially those aspiring filmmakers or those people who want to do short documentaries or film works that they want to get their names out. That this is the type of camera that is going to be very affordable. So the thing that I would say is, if you get this camera, know that you're going to have dust and splash proof. It is kind of sealed so that you are going to give it a fair bit of abuse if you buy it and use it in the field, which is something that happens all the time, where you get a lot of dust, or you get a lot of snow, or you get a lot of things that might affect the camera. This camera is pretty much weather sealed in a sort of way that is not going to allow the dust or things to seep in. Of course, it has heat sinks, so that means the air is going to be flowing through it, so it's not technically weather sealed, but it is designed to be performing very well for applications. Even cameras like Red or other cameras that have come out in the more DSLR type of look, the smaller compact bodies, now they feature heat sinks to dissipate the heat to be able to record those high bit information in the vlogging or for the video. Now, one thing that I should mention is that they have something called a fill light, which is something that has been incorporated from Sigma's proprietary thing, which is allows the adjustment of brightness of images by adding extra light energy into it. So what basically is saying is that it's pushing the ISO numbers, maybe allowing more sensitivity on the sensor to be able to capture the information better. Nikon and Canon have their own thing, which is they have different ISO levels that you can use at. Some of them are very good for low light. This is a kind of a version of it. What is different about this is that it allows the image to be altered, so the parts that are very dark can be opened up. It's a little different technology, but I think it's a technology that will be adopted by other companies, where the fill light in the shadows is necessary, so you're going to be able to bring out more details from the shadows. And that is a very, very nice thing for those people who want to do post work in their videos and try to bring recover those information, especially the fact that you have 12-bit DNG. Those are going to allow you the most flexibility when you're doing editing for your images. There is another thing on the back which I should mention. There is a tone and color control, which I don't find it to be a very professional way of approaching it, but it is there for those people who want to explore changing in the tones and colors. They can do the curve graphs, the changes in the color tones and everything else. Those I think should be reserved for doing it in post-production. But if you need to get something out really fast and export it from your camera directly, this is the option that is still available there for those people who want to use it in that manner. Of course, there is the HDR functionality. You can do HDR photography and video, which is wonderful because you got 3 exposures that are combined to create an HDR look. You can also do it on video, which is on 2 frames. So that is going to give you a flexibility in terms of getting as much information dynamic range wise into the image, and that means you're going to have more latitude in the post-production. The focus system is again important here. It has the kind of eye detection system that comes with the system. I don't believe that it's going to be as good as what Sony or other camera manufacturers are offering, but it is there, and that means you're going to be able to track the eye into a certain level and be able to focus on that eye very effectively for capturing images. The way I would use it is, if you're doing video, is to use the focus peak feature that is built into the camera. So that's going to allow you to get focus peaking as you use it. So that means that you're going to get more accurate focus, and you know that your focus is good for the video applications. As a filmmaker, as a director, I think that this camera will be the greatest camera that is going to be used in the professional fields, not because of its capabilities to record good quality video or take images, but the fact that you can use it as a director's viewfinder. What that means is that if you have a director's viewfinder, those are very, very expensive. It kind of mimics the look that you will get, for example, from a camera like the Arri or the Red. You're going to be able to put this into this mode where you're going to select, for example, Arri, and then when you select it, you can change the lens settings to see what kind of an image you're going to get, what kind of coverage you're going to get. And that is very good because now you don't have to spend huge amounts of money. You can actually even capture the footage and know exactly what you will be getting when you're doing filming. And that is a very good for the professional applications. I think that is going to be one of the key points that's going to make this camera very attractive for the professionals that want to use it. As far as photographing, videos, and all those things, they have their own segment, they have their own kind of line of clientele. But this, as a professional application, I think is the best thing that has come out since just the lenses that have the director's viewfinder. And this way you are going to be able to do it just from a small camera that you can carry with you into locations and take those images and see how that is going to compose without having to put different types of lenses onto the camera body. And that way you know exactly how to frame the images, and that is great for directors of photography, indie filmmakers that are going to be out there in the field doing videos, and they're doing their films, and they want to be able to know exactly what they're going to capture. And that, I think, is the best feature of this camera, and I think that is going to make this camera very attractive for people who are entering into the indie film market and that want to use a camera that is going to give them a lot of flexibility, even to capture small footages that may be used to give ideas of how the space is going to look, or have proxies to compose for their storyboarding or other applications. I think that is wonderful. As a all camera itself, this is a camera that I would think that has a very good prospect of becoming a better and better camera in the future. As a first-time camera, I think it's a great camera to buy, because as much as it costs about $1,800-$1,900, it is a camera that delivers good results for what it does. It is, of course, not the camera that has the highest megapixels. Of course, it's not the camera that has a lot of other functionalities that the Canon and Nikon or other Panasonic cameras have. But as a camera that delivers very good image quality for video, and to have the capability to deliver good photographs, and to be able to use as versatile as a director's viewfinder, I think combination of those characteristics makes this camera very good. And the fact that you're going to be able to carry this camera with a small compact body to every location that you may be shooting, or you be able to use it with you at all times for photographing or taking video, that I think is huge. So overall, would I recommend it? I definitely would, because I think that is one way to take advantage of this camera's capabilities for video or filming. And if you are photographing, still you have a lot of options in terms of capturing very good image quality. And you get all type of lenses that are definitely a plus. And for that, I think Sigma is going to develop this camera further and further in the next 2 to 3 years. And as a first-time camera, I think for 2 to 3 years, you're going to be able to get your money out of it. If you're using it for professional applications, as I said, for weddings or for events or for other things, and for the purpose of taking this camera with you for travel, it's a great vlogging camera. So I hope this has been informative. I hope this is something that you can take and make a better informed decisions. As I said, there are links down below for other reviews that I've done, also for links how to purchase this camera at a discounted price with the kit lens. I provided those links down below. You can read the full review on our website. I have also provided that link as well. So I hope to see you in our next review, and thank you for watching.